You are Nature Buddies Network Induction for new volunteers. We're absolutely delighted that you've chosen to become one of our new volunteers, and we hope that you'll find this presentation full of information you need to help you in your journey to becoming a Nature Buddy. However, please do let us know if anything is missing. The Nature Buddies Network is being delivered by Dorset National Landscape, and we are supported by Volunteer Centre Dorset, and we're funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. So thank you to the National Lottery players. So in this induction video, we will be covering an overview and purpose of the role of a Nature Buddy, the required skills, experience and qualities needed for the role, the benefits to being a volunteer, the benefits of getting outside into nature, some information around setting boundaries with your partner, some information on safeguarding, some information on goal setting, and what to do if there's an urgent mental health response required, and some information on further training opportunities, resources and requirements. So first of all, we'll take a look at your journey to becoming a Nature Buddy. So the first step in your journey is by taking part in this induction training, which you'll either be attending in person or through watching this video. There'll be additional training offered to all our Nature Buddies, and this training will be available to you online through our partners, in particular Volunteer Centre Dorset, or it will be delivered by ourselves. And we'll let you know what training modules are available, so that if there is some additional training that you think would be helpful in your role, you can let us know and we can organise that for you. There'll be, once you're feeling fully trained and confident, there'll be a pairing up process, and your organisation will pair you up with a new or nervous member who you will become a buddy to, and you'll work with that person for a set number of sessions. So we're recommending 4 to 6 sessions, but that will be completely dependent on your organisation and their Nature Buddy scheme. You'll go on to support that person that you're buddying. You'll help encourage, engage and support them, and making them feel safe, welcome and part of the group. Finally, there'll be some feedback. So you'll be given the opportunity to feedback throughout your time with your client, but also to us at the end to help us to improve Nature Buddies for the future. And once your sessions with that person come to an end, what's next? Hopefully your client is feeling confident enough to carry on and become a member of your group. And you'll be able to go on to use your new skills and learning to help more people, and go on to become a Nature Buddy for somebody new. So Nature Buddies, what is the purpose of the role of a Nature Buddy? So the overall purpose is to support an individual to gradually increase their confidence and ability to enjoy engaging with nature, and help them to increase their well-being, get out into the fresh air, try something new, but feel supported in doing that. You'll be supporting them to help and helping them to overcome any barriers that are standing in their way, because research has shown that people really do find it very difficult to get outdoors. If they're not very confident, or if they don't feel supported in doing so. And that's where a Nature Buddy really is important, because they help somebody to bridge that gap between wanting to try a new activity and actually getting out there and doing it, because they feel that they've got somebody to give them that helping hand to do so. So it's a really crucial role to help more people to get out into nature, enjoy it, and also improve their well-being and their confidence along the way. So what is the commitment we're asking from you? Well, we're asking our Nature Buddies to commit to doing the role for a minimum of 6 months. And during that time, you'll be supporting somebody for around an hour a week, possibly 2 hours a week. And we're asking for really a minimum of 4 hours a month. However, it is really flexible, so it is kind of whatever works for you. So if you're volunteering once a month and that's what fits in with you, then obviously that's what the expectation would be. So it does very much depend on the organisation you're working for and your volunteer hours and patterns. So the role itself, you might be buddying somebody through a variety of ways, and your organisation will have its own nature buddy role description that it's already planned out in advance, and you'll be able to see that. So some nature buddies might be walking buddies, and they'll be helping people to access green spaces and go for nice gentle walks in the countryside or around their site. You could be a meet and greet role and be a friendly face at the gate, say, for example, at a country park. So meeting somebody, showing them where all the facilities are, and just making them feel really at ease going there, and not daunted by going somewhere new. You could be a participant buddy, so taking part alongside that person in the activity and sharing your skills and facilitating the social aspects. So, for example, if it's a gardening group, you'd help them, show them the ropes for the gardening, and also introduce them to other people and just make them feel kind of really comfortable in what they're doing. So nature buddies, what will you be doing? So it, as I just touched on, it does really depend on your organisation that you're working with. So they can provide regular support to enable people to walk or visit local parks and green spaces. And they will be encouraging people who would not normally engage with outdoor environments. So this really is a big part of Nature Buddies. It's about helping people to access nature who don't generally have access to it. You'll be working with somebody on a particular activity that they'd like to try and do, paying particular attention to their likes and dislikes, maybe past hobbies and interests, so that you can really tailor that activity to them. So, for example, it might be that somebody comes along to a site and wants to try a gardening activity, and they used to do a lot of vegetable growing, so that would be as opposed to flower growing. So it might be that potentially that would be something that you could really focus on with that person, and being aware of those key messages and benefits of getting outside for health, and the benefits you can gain from being outdoors and passing those on. So in terms of your skills, experience and qualities, so we're not looking for people who have got any particular special qualifications or experience. We're just looking for volunteers who are understanding and patient and empathetic and being good at being good listeners. But that said, you should be enthusiastic about the benefits of the outdoor environment and have an interest in nature, even if you're not an expert. So Nature Buddies, what's in it for me? So Nature Buddies really gives you the chance to develop some new friendships and skills, such as communication, mentoring and negotiating, and be helping to make a real meaningful difference to somebody else's life, somebody who needs your support. You'll get lots of new training and skills, so not just this Nature Buddy training, but we'll be offering other training and support as we go along and the network grows. You'll increase and develop your own understanding and connection to landscape, wildlife, history and culture. And you'll have access to a wealth of online resources. We've got a special platform, and I'll share the link for that with you later, which has lots of ideas and resources online. So hopefully you'll find that really beneficial, and you will gain experience in the social care sector and the environmental sector. So in terms of what makes a good buddy, we've got a list here of some of the qualities we think were important in becoming a nature buddy. I'll just give you a moment just to have a little read through that. We're really looking for people with really good people skills, people who are friendly, reliable, warm, and good listeners, and people who are professional in their approach to volunteering, and people who really have that appreciation and understanding of nature and the outdoors. In terms of the benefits of nature-based activity, as we touched on earlier, being out in nature is really beneficial both for your physical well-being and also your mental well-being. And there's a wealth of evidence the wellbeing benefits that connecting to nature and heritage bring. So whether that's just by looking at a garden or learning about some natural history or visiting outdoor spaces, it can really boost your well-being. And Nature Buddies is quite different from other budding schemes because it focuses on connecting people to the natural world. And evidence does show that if you improve connection with nature, then people's mental health and well-being improves too. And interventions which use the natural environment as the setting for mental health promotion or therapy do deliver really positive outcomes. And you can see some of those outcomes here. So in terms of feeling you've got a greater meaning and purpose in life, a greater connection to your place or community, and social engagement, sharing experiences, all these things help to boost self-esteem, reduce feelings of isolation and loneliness. They can also help to, being out in nature can help to boost your immune system, helps brain health through learning and reminiscing, can help in the long-term management of some chronic conditions, and can also help to reduce stress, fatigue, anxiety, and depression, and overall help to increase satisfaction with life. So yeah, a wealth of benefits there to getting out in nature. So we're now going to touch on boundaries with your client. So first of all, why do we need boundaries? Well, boundaries are really important because they help to set our own limits and expectations. And we've got some kind of do's and don'ts here to consider when you're thinking about boundaries. So it's really important to recognise your own personal boundaries and be very comfortable with those. Would really advise you to avoid getting into situations that could be misunderstood, and always try and think before you do say yes to request for help. It's okay to say, can I get back to you on that? I'll just mull that one over. I just need to check something. Don't feel that you have to say yes. It's okay to say no if you don't feel comfortable. And do remember that the main focus of the budding relationship is the needs and progress of the other person. So it's taking a real person-centered approach in terms of your buddying with them. So trying to understand what they want from the sessions and working towards those goals. Would really advise you not to give out your home telephone number or address, and to keep this as very, although it's a buddying and kind of companionship scheme, it's also a professional relationship. So giving out kind of home telephone number or address, we would really advise against. Likewise, not taking that person to your own home and trying not to become overly emotionally involved, although, that can be difficult. And it's fine if you're struggling, if you're unsure about something, to go and ask your volunteer coordinator or the person who's organising the Nature Buddies scheme and have a chat with them about it. Absolutely talk to somebody if you're unsure about anything. So at the bottom it says, if you're ever in doubt about boundary issues, speak to the senior person running your activity session as soon as possible. So we really want our buddies to be happy and confident in what they're doing themselves. We certainly don't want you to be worrying about any issues. So yeah, please do speak to somebody if you need to. And yeah, just to be really clear around those boundaries as well, we are not expecting Nature Buddies to provide any kind of personal care or therapy to anybody. You're not a trained therapist. You might have an understanding of their issues, but you're not a therapist. We wouldn't advise you to meet at non-agreed times, or you wouldn't be expected to provide transport. That's completely at the discretion of your host organisation, the organisation that you volunteer with. If that's agreed in advance, if it's something you're willing to do, fine. But we're not expecting you to be a driver at all. So Nature Buddies are not nature experts or therapists, caregivers or drivers. They're that friendly person who wants to help you engage with nature in a way that suits you. So we've got a little bit of information here about safeguarding for adults. I'll just give you a little moment just to have a little look through that information. And we do have some more training videos on this if it's something that you haven't had any training before and you feel like you'd like a little bit more training on. So yeah, it's just really important to remember that you as a volunteer, it's not your role to deal directly with any safeguarding issues, but you do need to know when and how to report any potential concerns. So under the Care Act 2014, any adult aged 18 or over who has needs for care and support and is experiencing or at risk of abuse or neglect as a result of those care and support needs is unable to protect themselves from either the risk of or experience of abuse or neglect. So people in this situation may be referred to as adults with care and support needs, adults at risk, or vulnerable adults. And your role is to prevent harm and reduce the risk of abuse and neglect to adults, stop abuse and neglect wherever possible, support adults in making choices about how they want to live. So if anybody does disclose anything to you along the lines of abuse or neglect, that type of thing, then please do contact the senior person running the activity session as soon as possible and speak to them about it. Likewise, here we've got a slide on an urgent mental health response, because there might be a time, hopefully not, but there might become a time when someone attending your group does need some urgent support with their mental health. It can happen to anyone during their lifetime, but knowing what to do to support them can make a real difference. So they may have harmed themselves and need medical attention, or they might be having suicidal feelings and feel they may act on them, or they may be putting themselves or someone else at immediate risk of serious harm. So if somebody is not safe by themselves, please stay with them and help them to call 999 or let others know and take them to A&E. If they can keep themselves for a little while, safe for a little while, then please encourage them to contact their GP, or you could get quick medical advice by calling 111. You can also encourage them to call the Samaritans or to contact one of the services detailed on the following slides. If you feel others are in danger, then if you or others feel in danger, please call 999 and ask the police to help. So that's really important. So if you're feeling that you are in danger, then do call 999 immediately. And if applicable, please contact the person who made the referral into your group to inform them of the situation. And you'll be given a copy of this information so that you've got that to hand when you're out and about with your buddy. So the pairing up process, so your organisation will pair you up with a member who you'll become a buddy to. So your organisation will get a referral in from likely to be from a social prescriber. So somebody might have gone to their GP and said to them that they would like to try, that they've maybe experienced anxiety or some kind of depression, some potentially mental health issues, and the GP will refer them to a social prescriber instead of prescribing medication, so that they can get out into nature and get the well-being benefits from that. And your organisation will pair you up with a member who you will buddy, and it might be useful just to keep a little record showing who your client's name is, what activity they'll be attending, times, dates, etc. And your aim is to support them to do whatever the activity may be. There'll be some useful information that you might want to jot down and some contact details for that person. So when you first meet your client, it would be really useful and important to set some goals together. And goals are important, but they must be chosen wisely and in collaboration with your client. And sometimes it's better to set some small, achievable goals to help build confidence initially. So you might have your own ideas of where you want your client to be in a few months' time, but for them, it might just be the small things that they need to know initially. Those goals of where they need to be, what time, which bus to catch, what to wear, what to bring. So if you kind of start really small and keep achieving these goals, it will really build confidence. And then those bigger goals will come over time. So just a summary in supporting your buddy. So you'll be supporting them for a set number of sessions, which will be agreed in advance, and they'll know that. So your role is to engage with that person, to be that really friendly face, the activity, support them to try that activity, and to help them integrate into the group. And then after those sessions, check in with them and agree to disengage. And hopefully by that point, they'll want to come along to the group of their own accord anyway. But if not, that's fine. You can kind of agree a plan from then on. And as I said, just to summarise, so when you first meet your client, jot down anything that you feel may find helpful or useful to support them. Speak to them about making some small goals that you might set together and help them to prepare anything in advance that they might need to bring, read, etc., just to make it really nice and straightforward for them to join in those sessions with you. And if there is anything that your client needs that they don't have, we do have a small pot of funding, so it might be something that we could help with as well. So if it was kind of some special clothing or some boots, that type of thing, then please do let us know. We touched on this earlier in terms of your own training and support. So we'll provide you with all the key information to keep you and the people you're supporting safe and informed. And there'll be some online videos and information downloads from the Volunteer Centre Dorset website that you'll be able to access, and we'll give you the information for those. And we will be offering some additional training, which is not at all compulsory, but you may wish to develop your skills further. And this will be training sessions such as diversity inclusion, some nature connection training, befriending, dementia awareness, and a range of training modules around that type of theme, and we'll keep you updated on those. And if you do want to attend any of those training sessions, then you'll just need to let us know. We can get that sorted out for you. So feedback. So after you've had your first session with your client, then your organisation will check in with you to see how everything's gone. And obviously make any adjustments, that type of thing. If you feel the session hasn't gone well at all and that is not going to be a successful pairing, then that's absolutely fine. Just let your volunteer coordinator know, and they can end it there and then. But hopefully, if the session goes well, any adjustments can be made. You'll continue supporting that person, and then at the end of your sessions, there'll be another opportunity for you to provide some feedback. We're also asking people or organisations providing something called a jar of joy, and you can note down things that happen when you're so out and about with your client, any highlights. And we're just really hoping that will help you to identify any patterns of behaviour, remind you of the wonderful memories that you've made, give you a bit of time to reflect as well when things might not have gone to plan and how you can maybe adjust things in the future. And it will also help us to shape our project and our research. Sharing success stories and case studies. So numbers alone cannot describe fully the social and emotional impact of an experience, and we'll be really grateful if you'll be prepared to share any stories or experiences and case studies with Stepping into Nature project team, to demonstrate the effect that Nature Buddies has had on individuals involved. So whether that's from the perspective of a service user or from someone within the organisation who's delivering the activities. So we'll be really, really grateful to hear your stories. And so it could be, there'll that at the end we'll be asking if it would be okay for us to kind of do a short interview with you, maybe an audio recording or a short video, or just to write some notes with you, so that we can capture all of that. But please do ensure that the person that you've mentored has given permission to share any feedback, and that personal details aren't shared. And so that's it for your Nature Buddies induction. We hope you found that really useful, but please do let us know if there's anything that you think we could add to this or amend or adjust, and we'll make sure we do that accordingly. But we wish you every success in becoming a nature buddy, and we look forward to hearing your stories. Thank you. Bye-bye.